Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Copycat Ram. This is Ram and today I have brought another video for you. In this video I am going to show you the CSS pseudo element property that is before and after. In this video I will give you some hint and idea when and where should we use and we can use before and after pseudo element. So let's continue. So let's start with the definition. If we consider the W3 school definition about the before and after, then according to it, the before and after selector inserts something before the content of each selected element. That means if you target a something, then it will help us to insert something just before and after the content that we have targeted. On the other hand, if we consider the MDN web docs, then before and after creates a pseudo element that is the first child of the selected element. It is often used to add cosmetic content to an element with the content property. It is inline by default. Yes, that means we may add something without adding any extra markup in the HTML. So in the browser you can see that there is a text that is welcome written on the browsers, and behind the scene you can see that this is the HTML part. Inside the body I have taken just h1 where welcome text has been written, and in the style section you can see that in the body just I have used the flex to center in the between this screen. To add the text, just we have to need to target the h1 and then we have to set the pseudo element before and after. So let's see how we can do. So the first thing is that we have to target the content. So here we can see that the content is inside the h1, so we can target the h1 by the targeting the element directly. Even if you have, suppose you have some class, then you can also target by its class name. If you have id, then you can target it by id. This depends on the situation that you have inside your code. So to add the content, first we need to target the element. So here I am targeting the element by directly by its tag name. So here I am using h1. Then we need to use double colon and we need to mention the pseudo element. So here I want to add the content. Here I want to add something just before the content. So here I am using the before, and then you need to use the content property of the pseudo element. Here you need to mention the text that you want to add. So suppose here I want to add hello. So now you can see that on the screen we have hello and welcome together. If you can see that only on the browser we can only select the welcome text, but we cannot select the pseudo element that we have added. So that is the case, and by default it is inline, that you can see that the hello text has been added just before the welcome without breaking the line. So it is by default inline by the nature. So as now if we want to add something after the content, then we need to here mention the after, and then you need to again write something. So here I'm writing YouTube channel. So let's check on the browser. So you can see that we have hello welcome YouTube channel. So in this part we are going to see how we can add some styling just using the before and after pseudo element. So now you can see that on the screen that I have written some strategy, and behind the scene you can see that inside the h1 tag I have changed the text. Copycat Ram is the one of the best YouTube channel. Let's assume that this is your code that you have written. Now you want to add some quotation mark, some open and close quotation mark before the quotations. So how you can achieve this? You can use to stylize this just using the before and after pseudo elements. So let's again, first we need to target the content. So our content is inside the h1, so I am targeting the h1. Then you have to write before, and inside the content just we have to need to write the content, and inside the content we need to mention the stylized that we want to add. So here I want to use the open quote. So now let's check on the browser. Now you can see that we have the open quote. Now we have the open quote just before the text. Now at the same case, if you want to add something after the content, then we need to just here write the after, and then we need to convert the open to the close. Now let's check on the browser. Now we have open and close quote mark just before our the quotations. Now what if you want to reposition that? So that is the best thing that we can do here is just we need to make the h1 as the position relative, because I am here going to use the absolute position absolute for the before and after. Yes, you can add any styling thing to the before and after. You can treat them anything like how you want. You may convert it into a block property, or you may have it as an inline by default that you have. So here I am positioning the h1 as the relative. Now the before and after is the now have a unique separate identity, so we can manage them easily. So here I am writing position absolute. Let's make it the top minus 20 pixel and the left, now make it minus 15 pixel. So let's see it how it's look now. Now we can see that the open quote has been moved a little bit upward. So same thing we can do with the after content too. So let's make it position absolute and the top, not top, now let's say it is the bottom minus 20 pixel and the right will be minus 15 pixel. Yes, now we can see that the code has been moved to the bottom. So let's suppose I want to add some square sign here and some square sign here instead of this code mark. So for that, as we have the content property by default with the pseudo element, we need to set the content property. We cannot remove this. So for the initial state, I am setting it as the blank string. Next thing is that I am keeping all the things same as that we have already had, that position absolute and the top and left as the negative value. Now we want to add width. So let me add with 50 pixel, height 50 pixel, background color. Now for the set the red. Now let's check it out how it's look. Now you can see that we have the red bar over here. Okay, it should be 20 pixel. Now we have this red square that I want to place just before the content instead of the quote mark. So you can do this. Even you can do more, like you can set the border radius 50%. So in this part we are going to see how we can add a counter. Yes, by the CSS you can also add a counter just like a JavaScript we have. But in this case we need, so on the screen you can see that I have some list of animal that I have written on the back of the code, and the back of the scene you can see that here is the some HTML part that I have written. I have taken a div, I have given a listing, a class, and inside the listing I have taken another div and written some animal's name. On the top you can see that only I have targeted that class to just give a margin top and bottom. That's it. Now let's suppose that we want to add some custom counter, like here I want to add 1 2 3 4. Yes, we can also use the order list, but suppose there is a case that we cannot use the order list, but we have designed something custom using the span, div and other things. So in that case, how we can add a custom counter? So we cannot write manually here, because in the future it may happen that we have appended some another text or another added some other animals after the cow. In that case again we need to change all the order. So the simplest thing is that we have the pseudo element counter. Yes, by the pseudo element we can create a custom counter. First we need to tell the listing. So here I am taking the listing, and here I am writing counter reset. What will be the counter reset? For that we need to assume a unique name. Yes, you can set a unique name just like a variable in the JavaScript. So here I am giving a unique name to the counter, giving a name list counter. Now again we need to set counter increment. When it should increment, it will increment every time it will found a div inside the listing, because we are going to show the counters value over inside this div just before the animal's name, and the animal's name is inside the listing. So we need to increment this variable by 1 or any value whenever it's found the div inside the listing. So here I'm setting the counter increment inside the div that should increment the list counter. That's it. Now as I have to print the counter name before the animal, for that we can use the before pseudo element, because we want to show the counter value before the animal's name. Okay, so again here I'm targeting the div, and here I am using this before pseudo element, and the content I am going to use the list counter value. How we can do this? We can use counter function, and inside the counter function we only need to pass the variable. That's it. Let's check on the browser. Now you can see that we have 1 2 3 4 5. The counter is showing dynamically. Yes, it is dynamic. Let me add another animal after the cow. I am here adding the dog. Now see on the screen what it happened. Is by default taking two number with the dog, and the other number has been auto arranged. That is the unique thing about the counter part of the pseudo element. Now suppose you want to increment the value by the 2. You just only need to write plus 2 over here, and let's check it out. Now you can see that the incrementing value is starting from the 2, and the number has been appended, has been incremented by the gap of the 2 value. Now we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12. If you have any other question related to the pseudo element, please comment down below. I will try to answer all your query in my upcoming videos. Thank you for watching.